Hi, it's testimony time again, but this time it is in relation to a prayer request that I have for a man that I know named Kenny Phillips. In 2018, I moved here to Georgia to help take care of my grandmother. It was clear on a visit that I had that my mom needed help taking care of my grandmother, and so we made plans for me to move here to help with that situation. And I initially I was working while I was helping to take care of her, but then I stopped working to take care of my grandmother full time until her death. And then after her death, my one of my family members told me that I needed to take a little bit of time to process all of that before I decided to go back to work and just take some time to figure out what I wanted to do. So in January of 2023, I started looking for a job, and I could not find a job anywhere. There were no jobs to be had. Everyone was hiring, but no one was hiring me. And I have a lot of skill sets. I have an associate's degree, I have a bachelor's degree. I can do a lot of things. And at that time, I just needed to pay my bills. I was looking for a job for almost 5 months and nothing. And I couldn't even get a call back for as a cashier for a grocery store. Like, could not get anyone to call me back for that. But yet they were hiring. Um, so I was considering moving away to find better job opportunities. As a last ditch effort, I applied with a staffing agency in town, and that's where I met Kenny Phillips. And Kenny helped me get back into the workforce, and he helped guide me to get a job and help me get back on my feet. And we talked during that whole process. We were talking. He was talking to me about his wife and about his family and about their future plans. And, he just made me feel very comfortable and very much like we were friends, even though we had just met. Fast forward a couple of months later, I was needing some help with paperwork. I had a question, and he had given me his cell phone number, so I called him on his cell phone. And he said, "Oh, well, I guess you don't know. I don't work there anymore with the agency. My wife and I decided to fast forward our future plans. So I have quit, but I will help you anyway. Like, here are the answers to your questions, and here's the person that you need to call." And he was very nice and jovial and smiling. You'll never see him without a smile on his face, no matter what the situation. And I'm going to show you a picture, and I'll put it up here somewhere. And you can tell he doesn't feel well, but he's got a smile on his face. As time went on, I would see him out and about in the community. He remembered me, even if he didn't remember my name. He would remember my face and be like, "Hey, how's that job going? How are you doing?" And he would always take the time, no matter how busy he might have been, to speak and to ask about me and just chit chat for a little bit. And he and his wife opened up an ice cream and candy shop in town. And then he had a medical emergency. And I don't know how many of you have ever owned a business. I have never owned a business, but I can imagine that there are financial pressures that go with that. And, I'm not sure what the insurance situation is with that. But Kenny has incurred a lot of medical bills as a result of this medical emergency. He had to have blood transfusions. He was in the hospital. He was in Mayo Clinic for a little bit. He got transferred to a rehab center. He was finally allowed to come home, but he needs a lot of therapy, physical therapy, and he'll have a lot of specialists, and he needs medical equipment and everything. So I'm asking everyone who sees this video if they can please pray for Kenny and his family, that they will get through this trying time. And I'm also asking, if you pray about this, please take it to the Lord in prayer first. But if everyone who sees this could donate $1 to his GoFundMe account. His daughter-in-law has set up a GoFundMe account with a goal of $20,000 to help with any expenses. Now, their business is running. Their business is at the moment doing fine and functioning, and all seems well with that. And no one has really spoken to that publicly that I'm aware of. But the one thing that they are asking for is for help. And it's not even Kenny that's asking for help, and it's not his wife, Teresa. It's the daughter in law that's asking on their behalf. Because as you can imagine, Kenny and Teresa don't want to ask anyone for anything. They have always been the ones who have wanted to help the community, and they never want to ask for help in return. And so the Lord has kind of impressed it upon me that though my platform is small, to use it to help them in any way that I can. Because He has been so kind to me in my life that He could really use the help. And if every one of the followers and subscribers were to just be able to donate $1 to his GoFundMe, then that would raise a couple of $1,000s towards his $20,000 goal, which the last time I saw it, I think he was at like $5,000 towards the goal. So they're getting there. They just need a little boost and a little bit of help. And like I said, he has really been helpful and instrumental in my life in getting me back to work and back on my feet. And I would like to pay that forward for him to help him get back on his. So I thank y'all in advance, and thanks for listening. Love y'all. Have a great night.